1-800-Flowers.com knows that a gift is never just a gift. A gift is an expression of everything you feel and helps build more meaningful relationships. 1-800-Flowers takes the pressure off by helping you navigate life's important moments by making it simple to find the perfect gift. From flowers and cookies to cake and chocolate, 1-800-Flowers helps guide you in finding the right gift to say how you feel. To learn more, visit 1-800-Flowers.com/ACAST. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/ACAST.
On today's Smart 7, the Pope's death is announced. IDF admit to tragic error in Gaza deaths and much more. It's Tuesday, 22nd of April. It's National Beagle Day, and happy birthday, Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
Easter Monday morning saw an announcement from the Vatican.
Carissimi fratelli et sorelle.
Dear brothers and sisters, with deep sorrow I must announce the death of our Holy Father Francis. At 7:35 this morning, the Bishop of Rome, Francis, returned to the house of the Father. His entire life was dedicated to the service of the Lord and his church.
The Vatican doctor confirmed on Monday night that Pope Francis had died from a stroke and irreversible heart failure after falling into a coma on Sunday night. The 88-year-old, who had served as Pope since 2013, was the first Jesuit Pope and made it his mission to speak for the world's poor, deliberately refusing all of the traditional trappings of papal luxury. There were tributes from world leaders, including King Charles, who met the pontiff just recently, along with Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni and US President Trump. The Pope, who had been ill for some time, had a packed Easter Sunday schedule, meeting with US VP J.D. Vance and using his last Easter address to speak on behalf of civilians in Gaza. His message was read by Cardinal Angelo Comastri.
I think of the people of Gaza and its Christian community in particular. I appeal to the warring parties. Call a ceasefire, release the hostages, and come to the aid of a starving people that aspires to a future of peace.
While Pope Francis may have used his last public address to call for peace in Gaza, there was no sign over the Easter weekend of any shift in the Israeli position on the conflict. Gaza remains under an 8-week blockade of aid, while Israeli forces issue evacuation orders and continue to strike at what they describe as Hamas targets. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu pledged on Saturday that the war would continue until Hamas are totally defeated.
I insist on not putting an end of this war of revival and resurrection before we guarantee that the Gaza Strip will not pose a threat on Israel once again.
IDF forces did finally admit to what they called operational failures over the killing of 15 aid workers who were pulled from their ambulances and shot over a month ago. Those claims were rejected by aid agencies, including the UN's humanitarian chief for Gaza, Jonathan Whitall. But IDF spokesperson Lieutenant Colonel Nadav Shoshani says the incident was just a tragic error.
They were acting in an operational way with obviously mistakes. Tragic mistakes. The IDF does not target ambulances, and the IDF did not target ambulances in that night.
Russia's President Putin took the world by surprise on Saturday when he announced a 24-hour Easter Sunday ceasefire. It came as Donald Trump appears to be growing increasingly frustrated with the lack of progress on his proposed peace deal for Ukraine, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio warned on Friday that the US may step away altogether. Russia resumed hostilities on Monday with an attack on Kherson that killed at least 3 people and rejected a Ukrainian proposal for a longer 30-day ceasefire, although Putin did suggest he may be open to direct talks with Kyiv. UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer spoke to Ukrainian President Zelensky on Monday ahead of this week's meeting in London and backed calls for a full ceasefire. Zelensky used his Easter message to call for strength from the Ukrainian people.
All the stones being thrown at us will not remain ruins on our land. We will turn them into a strong foundation for our future freedom, peace and memory of what we went through and achieved. What proves decisive is not only the victory of arms, but above all the victory of spirit.
Last week saw the UK Supreme Court rule that the definition of a woman is based on her biological sex, at least according to the 2010 Equality Act. That ruling sparked protests and celebrations from the two sides of the debate, despite warnings from both the court and the Equality Commission that it was a specific and limited decision. Easter weekend saw protests as thousands of trans right activists gathered in Parliament Square to make their voices heard. Already the NHS and British Transport Police have announced policy changes for single-sex spaces on the back of the ruling. This protester says it's not just a matter of trans rights, it's an existential issue.
Cis people need to start rallying and understanding that transphobia doesn't just hurt transgender people. They are policing women, they're policing femininity, they're policing how we look. And we can't allow that.
Still to come on today's Smart 7 in association with Metro, Spurs stumble again and another big-name celebrity heads to space. Right after this.
Support for this podcast and the following message is brought to you by E-Trade from Morgan Stanley. With E-Trade, you can dive into the market with easy-to-use tools, $0 commissions, and a wide range of investments. And now there's even more to love. Get access to industry-leading research and insights from Morgan Stanley to help guide your decisions. Open an account and get up to $1,000 or more with a qualifying deposit. Get started today at etrade.com. Terms and other fees apply. Investing involves risks. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC, member SIPC. E-Trade is a business of Morgan Stanley.
Welcome back. It was a busy Premier League Easter weekend as Liverpool beat Leicester 1-0 to see Ruud van Nistelrooy's side relegated, while Arsenal beat Ipswich 4-0 to keep their faint hopes of stopping Liverpool alive. The weekend also saw Man United lose 1-0 at Old Trafford to Wolves, picking up their 15th defeat in a truly miserable season. Leeds and Burnley won promotion from the Championship, while Monday night saw Spurs at home to Nottingham Forest, with Forest looking for a win to get back into the Champions League places. The game finished 2-1 to Forest, which puts them back to third in the table and left Spurs manager Ange Postecoglou sounding depressed.
It's disappointing. It's a game we should never lose. It's another one we've let slip. We've just conceded poor goals and given ourselves a mountain to climb.
It's not always plain sailing when a celebrity heads to space. Just ask Katy Perry, who has been facing a backlash since her over-the-top Blue Origin trip. But one woman we're happy to see back in a spacesuit is the original Alien movie badass Sigourney Weaver. She's suiting up to join the Star Wars universe and has a part in the new Mandalorian and Grogu movie, playing a Rebel Alliance fighter pilot. She says she's always been an admirer of the Star Wars universe.
It's a very complex but also playful world. I appreciate how different it is from the rather dark world of Alien. It's a celebration of loving movies and loving science fiction and fantasy.
We don't get a lot of sports-based horror movies unless you're watching Man United this year. But now Jordan Peele, the Oscar winner behind Get Out, has turned his attention to the world of American football. He's produced Him, written and directed by Justin Tipping, and it's a disturbing look at America's favourite sport. It stars former Florida State wide receiver Tyreek Withers and Marlon Wayans as a creepy mentor called Isaiah White. From the first trailer, it has hints of body horror and pretty dark undertones, and it hits cinemas in September.
I'm never good enough. That's how great people think. So you're gonna have to ask yourself, what am I willing to sacrifice?
You've been listening to the Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes and we'll give you the world.
Hey, you know what would make your customer service help desk way better? Dumping it and then switching to Intercom. But you're not quite ready to make that change. We get it. That's why Finn, the world's leading AI customer service agent, is now available on every help desk. Finn can instantly resolve up to 80% of your tickets, which makes your customers happier and gets you off the customer service rep hiring treadmill. Finn by Intercom, the leading customer service AI agent, now available on every help desk.